Namaskaram. Welcome to Vaisakh Anna's podcast. We are Astha.
And Colleen from Yogastha.
We have some exciting news.
Our Himalayan retreat is just around the corner.
It's from 19th to 23rd of September.
Join us for some yoga, sattvic food, and fun in the mountains.
Vaisakh Anna will share with you the coupon codes for exclusive discounts.
You can reach out to us on Instagram to register.
And for more such yoga retreats in Goa. See you there.
Namaskaram everyone and welcome back to the podcast. We have Ravi Anna today with us, who I had to force to take a podcast. Ravi Anna is trying to make this podcast as short as possible. So for the mission for me is to elongate it. But I don't know whether I'll be successful or not. But hopefully with Devi's grace we'll do it. So Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. I know you don't like to be on podcasts. You don't like to share too much about your life. But the idea behind the podcast is, you might think your journey is very simple, there is nothing much, but your simple life and the way you're leading life might inspire someone to totally transform their life. They might be looking for that one glimpse of what you did or what made you come on this path, and that might be that thing that person, he or she, might need for them to know that there is a genuine path for them to follow, for which they can go with it. So that is the basic intent with this podcast. There is nothing big. So just to reach that one person who might be able to find Sadhguru and use his tools. So hopefully we'll be able to do that today.
All right, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's not like I don't want to share. It's just like as I said, there's not much to say, first of all. And yes, I find sometimes I don't have words to explain. I keep it very brief. So podcast goes for hours and hours, so I don't have content for hour. So that's why I said let's keep it short and sweet. Yeah.
Because why Ravi Anna is everyone in Hyderabad who I tell people, I'm taking Ravi Anna's. Oh, Ravi Anna, I've done Hatha Yoga with him. They all seem to know you, but I'm sure they would want to know a little bit more about the Hatha Yoga teacher from whom they learned the practice, which has transformed their life.
Okay.
I know. Anyway, if I ask any Hatha Yoga teacher, they will all say, no, it's not me. It's Sadhguru's grace. And Devi's grace. That's what they say. So definitely, it is like that only. I'm not saying it is like that, but we would like you to know how you came under that, and even before all that, my main intent is to know. I also want to know, because the podcast for me is also very personal. It helps me somewhere in my journey also. I also stray away from the path a lot of times. So taking a podcast, listening to someone else is a reminder for me to, I'm also on something very genuine and I need to keep at it. So I would like to know more about, before Isha and all that, from where you were born, where you grew up, schooling, the college, your breakups, or no breakups, whatever it is.
So if you look at my journey, you want me to start where?
From your childhood, Anna. Not Sadhguru, like before Sadhguru.
Childhood, okay.
Yeah. Was Sayana always, was Sayana came, I got. Was Ravi Anna always into yoga? Were you always spiritual as a kid?
Good question. Probably I'll start where the spirituality started, basically. I was a very quiet and shy guy when I was a kid. But my influence is always my mother. So spirituality comes from my mom. So she was a very spiritual person, and I saw her always doing some or the other puja. Every day we'll have one special puja happening. So during this is auspicious Shravana Masam, and during the Shravana Masam she used to take me to the temple early in the morning, and I used to wake up and get ready by 4 o'clock, and I used to go to temple very enthusiastically. The only one reason I went to the temple to take prasadam from there.
Could you talk more about your mother? Like, we would like to know more about her.
Yeah. So my mom very down to earth, but very very I'm trying to find the word. Not a motivational, but what is that thing to get things done? Basically, she was a very strong woman. Even when she was in college, she completed her bachelor's in art, and she could not find a job. So I'm just giving an example how strong she was. So she wrote a letter to Prime Minister, then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi.
Okay.
so Indira Gandhi, and maybe after some time, not immediately, but she got a reply from her, and she she basically wrote to her saying that I don't have a job, so I need to find a job. So she sent a recommendation letter to a local bank, basically.
The Prime Minister sent a
Prime
recommendation.
Minister local bank, and then unfortunately she did wanted to start up the job, but after that life happened and she got married. You know how those olden days, my father didn't have a job, but my mother got the job already. It's like all this. Obviously, the life drama happened, and she could not start the job because my father didn't have job. However, she's been always a great influence on our family. The values that comes from is from her, and whatever we are today is because of my mom. Whether it is bringing us up in a right way and giving us the right values, and showing us the right path and teaching the right lessons. And she's a very self-esteem person. I think I see my mother in my sister.
Okay.
She's like turned out to be exactly like my mother. So my mom passed away last year. However, I still feel her presence. So yeah, that's about my mom. So that's how my life started, where I used to go to temples, and my mom used to do Shukravaram Santosh Mata puja. So we used to be very, very particular about what we eat on that day. You're not supposed to eat sour and pulupu, tamarind or lemon. All these things were avoided, and we used to do upasam. We used to wait for that prasadam and get sweet on that day. So that's how we used to be very disciplined in that way as well. And yoga entered when I was a kid. We used to do casual yoga, not so serious. But I was more into dancing. Okay. So I used to do dance, casual dance.
What kind of cinematic dance?
Yeah, this cinematic dance.
What was your favorite song?
So so that's how I keep up my fitness basically. Okay. If I look back, like what I did, I was not a very sports person.
Which song? No, I'm asking which song would you?
Nagin dance.
Nagin dance.
Jokes. Okay. So basically cinematic dance. So I was very active. I used to go around and play a lot. So I was very much into social life. However, I used to be a shy guy, but I was very active among the people that I know. That's how I grew up. So I grew up in a small town called Anantapuram, which is in Rayalaseema, Andhra Pradesh. So I went to municipal school where my education was almost free. Sometimes I wonder, people spend so much money on education these days. So we hardly spend nothing, almost zero. My father was a government employee, and he also a great person with high morals and high values. One of his kind, because he was never corrupt. So government employees have this reputation of being corrupt, but he was very very honest, and even now he gets calls from the offices asking for guidance and all that. Even now, if he goes back to where he worked, he get a lot of respect. So I'm very proud of my father. So that honesty comes from him. So that's how I grew up in a small town. I did my studies, my schooling there, and after that I came back to. We moved to Hyderabad. I did diploma in tool making. Which is a mechanical background in Central Institute of Tool Design. From there, I went to Chennai. I worked there for some time in Lucas TVS. There, I got the opportunity to move to a different country because my brother used to live in New Zealand. So that's where my journey started as like a proper professional journey, I would say. I went there as a CNC operator and then CNC programmer.
CNC is this computer
numerical control. So you write programs to control the machine, basically. I used to do that, and there that's how I.
Anna, skip the spicy parts about girlfriend and thing. Okay,
I was still a kid.
Okay.
Till I turned 30, I was a kid.
Everyone thinks you need a breakup to go spiritual or hit the gym. So sadly, that's not happening.
You don't find the spiciness. Yes. See, I told you there's not much to share. So basically, that's how I did my college, and then I went to work in Chennai. Chennai is something that I have really good, beautiful memories there. as I was spiritual, I continued my journey in spirituality. I used to follow Shirdi Sai Baba, and we used to have a guru called Sharad Babaji. So used to go to Shirdi often, and that's how my spiritual journey continued. And even when I went to New Zealand, it continued that way. So where I kept in touch with my roots.
Was it easy for you in a new country? Because people find it hard. Was it easy for you to be in New Zealand with
Yes.
this practice?
Okay. So in this process where I was in the college, and there's one stage I decided I can't be quiet. I have to be outspoken, and I have to do certain things to grow in life. So that's when I decided to start exploring, and where I started speaking out. That's how I found this opportunity to come out of the country, because I was never a person who looked for things. I used to wait things to come to me. So when I went to New Zealand, it was a bit of a transition, but it was not a drastical change. Where if you have a guru, if you basically be in touch with the real thing, you continue your sadhana, things will fall in place. That's how it happened to me. I went to New Zealand. My brother was there. Great support. Because of him, I moved to New Zealand. On I think the day 2 or day 3, I went to a temple.
Okay.
There is a Sai Baba temple where many people gathered and did satsang and other bhajan and all that. So that's how I went and spoke to Indian community there. There's a huge Indian community, and then they have accepted me as one of them immediately, because I was very active in participation in the activities. So finding people, friends and family was not very hard for me. Basically, it felt like I moved from one India to the other India. It's never a foreign country to me. But yeah, it was not a great culture shock. But however, I was very, in terms of keeping in touch with the local community or local culture, I was continually exploring both options. I was being little Kiwi and little Indian as well. So I balanced it out. Because it's a new country, we would always want to try new things, right? So it's not something that you can just keep in your own shell and I'm Indian, I'm not going to try anything. So
what is the Kiwi culture like? What is
so Kiwi culture is more going out. They're like always out. Whenever there is an opportunity, they just go out into the nature. That is, I would say, that's one of my dream. Since I was a kid, I always wanted to stay around a lot of trees, because the place I come from, Ananthapuram, is a very like a drought-prone area. There's not much trees. There's not much greenery. So I always wanted to stay close to the greenery. So I moved to Auckland, which is like a financial capital of New Zealand. So from where I lived, it's like half an hour journey, and you'll find a great waterfall and a lot of greenery, and you go into the center of the jungle. So there is a jungle range called Vaisakh. So basically, the local people always used to go out and go for a swim. Just casually, they go into the evening swim and then do a surfing and then come back. So that has influenced me a lot. I started exploring, going for trekking, birds watching, and surfing. Go to the beach just casually. That I loved it, because that's the true nature of me as well. So I found my things there. So that's how I connected with New Zealand. Yeah.
awesome, Anna. So from there, now we'll go to how did you find Sadhguru? Like before even Sadhguru, like you talked about Shirdi Sai Baba, right? So how did you connect with Shirdi Sai Baba? It was your mother or like?
When I was in my college, we had family friends, Rajini and Ramya. They are like my neighbors when I was when we were in school. They moved to Hyderabad, so I connected with them when I was in college. Anything. So we always, traditionally we always come to God when we need something.
Yes.
Right? So
what did you need at that time?
I started preparing for my entrance for this college.
Okay.
This Central Institute of Tool Design.
Okay.
And there's only 20 seats, and all over India people used to come and compete for that. And I went and approached them. They said, "Oh, okay, why don't you write a letter to my guru?" So I wrote a letter to their guru that time, Sarad Babuji. Then I'm a very, to be honest, I'm very, very normal student. I was not a great at, great at academics, and I was an average student. I simply wrote a letter saying that, hey, this is what I'm doing. I need to get a seat in this college. So to my surprise, I actually got a second rank in the whole 20. And I was like surprised. I still don't believe that's me, but I got second rank in that. I was like very surprised. Is it really me? But somehow, when I look back, I did well in the exam, but I don't know how I did well. But there's always some invisible hand. You just have to try your best to prepare for exams, and you do your best, and things will fall in place. That's how it happened in all my life. So that's when I started having a guru in my life. There I learned what is the significance of having guru. Why a live guru is important to have. How blissful is that person who have a live guru. So I used to go to Shirdi like crazy, like 5, 6, 7 times a year. So that was like my favorite journey, Hyderabad to Shirdi. So that's how I got connected to spirituality and yogis, and not only just Shirdi Sai Baba, other yogis as well. So hence, since then, I continued my journey in New Zealand as well. And when there was a day that my Guruji took Samadhi, when that day happened, there is a vacuum obviously a vacuum that happens when you always have a guru to rely upon and look upon and then go to, and all of a sudden there is no guru to you, and he left you.
So your guru was that person you wrote letter to? Like, okay.
Then, so then I got connected to him. I started following him.
So was there any particular sadhana or like?
We basically, he used to say just one God. You just follow, have your goal is you should be one, and don't get distracted too much. So we used to just follow Sai Baba, and sadhana was like a lot of chanting was our sadhana, and getting connected with people and on a ground level doing seva was our sadhana basically. That's how I used to do many things. So when the day come where our guru left.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Were you not influenced by your friends who were at that time into other things, and how did you keep away from all of them?
When you
I think at that time people would want to try to bars, pubs, alcohol.
Where in New Zealand?
No, New Zealand, and I think this guru was in India, right? When you were
he was in India.
Yeah.
Sharad Babuji was in India in Shirdi. See, I grew up in a family where drinking is a taboo, smoking is a taboo, swearing is a taboo. So olden days they used to, if you really have to look for a guy for a girl, so they used to see all this, that the guy drinks or smokes or does things. So they used to be very careful. Nowadays drinking is like so fashionable. But however, my father was never drank, never smoked, and he was very careful at home as well. So that's how I grew up, and it come to us very naturally that that consciousness of drinking is bad and smoking is bad, and if you really have to do, you just do it consciously. So it never occurred to me that I should drink. Okay. So when I was in college, and those days I never drank anyways. Getting influenced because I was always surrounded by people who go to satsang and who used to follow. So it's all about associations. If you put yourself around the people who are successful, your success is just very natural consequence. If you are around the people who are spiritual, you always lead to in that direction, right? So I was always around people who are really good in their life, who used to be doctors, engineers, and business people, entrepreneurs, and we used to learn a lot from them. And they always used to come to satsang. We always talk. There's always a common topic to talk about. Right. There's not much of influences. So even those people who I'm associated those days, I'm still in touch with them, and they're doing great in there. Some people are scientists. So if you have these many examples, so there's no way that you can go wrong in life in general. So that's how my college and the young days
Young days, right.
passed without any bad influence.
Beautiful. Right. So basically, it's the people we associate, the kind of people we are around,
Correct.
that comes to us also.
Exactly. See, that's it. So even many motivated speakers also, they say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to, if you want to know, if anyone want to know about a person, just look at their friends first.
Friends first.
So that's how they, yeah. So basically,
So Anna, from there now, how did like you felt that vacuum in your life? So what did you do during those days? To fill that vacuum?
Obviously I was shattered, and I was in New Zealand. I didn't even come to his funeral and all. So I was shattered. I was there. I was looking. There are certain things that happen in my life where that gap and the vacuum increased as well, and my longingness to seek something more than just a 9 to 5 job. Because I was successful, whatever I was doing, I was successful basically. By then, I left my engineering career and I moved to customer service. I used to work for a power company. I was successful there. I started as a customer service representative. Then I became a team leader for the same team, same company. I was doing well, but there's always certain things that bothers you. Like there's something missing in your life. I want to get more than what you're doing. I was happy. I had everything a successful person would have: a car, a house, friends, parties, going out, beaches, whatnot. So trips. I had everything. I was a happy person. It's never that I was sad. I was a very happy person. But there's always a little thing that bothers you. Is what more than this?
Yeah.
It's what else that I can do in my life to make it more worthwhile. I was missing, so that's when Sadhguru entered in my life. Basically, there's one day, one of my colleague in lunch break, she mentioned about this person called Sadhguru.
Okay.
I said, okay. Then I said, Sadhguru who?
Okay.
Just Sadhguru word which never occurred to me as a name. I said, Sadhguru who? What is the name? Oh, you don't know Sadhguru? Where are you? Where are you living? It's like, no, I don't know Sadhguru. Tell me Sadhguru who? Because there is Sadhguru, there's also a name after that. Oh, when she says Sadhguru, I said, oh, I don't know. And then, I think Facebook must have heard about the conversation.
They're patrolling us.
So there's a video popped up in my Facebook where Sadhguru started talking about Indian culture, because I'm Indian culture is something that I can never stay away from, and anything that I'm very it's something that interests me. Sadhguru talked about Indian culture, how American society is influencing the whole world, how everyone is following America and wearing pants which to show their buttocks and all that. They're like a funny conversation.
Right.
And this guy was like, who's this guy who's talking about funny Americans but still praising Indian culture? Just to look at him, he's wearing such a nice attire and all that. His English was amazing. I definitely, I got all attention. He got my attention, and then I started watching him. And then many people can relate to where there's no turning back.
Right.
I got addicted to Sadhguru's videos. Start with Sadhguru's video, end with Sadhguru video.
Right.
That's how it is.
Right.
Cooking, while I was cooking, Sadhguru's video used to happen. Anything that you do, Sadhguru's voice always used to run in the backdrop. That's how I was like, I enjoyed that phase of my life where it's like Sadhguru was my a close mate. I felt like he was my friend. I never felt like he's away from me. Physically I could feel that difference. Physically he's definitely away from me, but I could feel that someone that I've known for a long time. So that's how I felt. And then basically there comes the day where you need to move on in your life, where I started making decision to come to India basically.
Okay.
That's how Sadhguru entered in my life. Yeah.
So, from listening to a lot of Sadhguru videos, and was it that motivated you to come back, leaving your job, or was there something else that you wanted to?
See, as I said, there's something more I wanted to do in my life. By the time that I made a decision to come to India, I was a banker. I used to work for ANZ, Australian New Zealand Bank. I was doing well, good money and all that, and good boss. I used to enjoy my work as well because by that time I was a very people's person. I could not speak to computer because that's why I left. I said I need to see a person, at least talk to the person. So I wanted to do something more. Then hence I decided I'll come and see Sadhguru and stay in the ashram for some time.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to take a break basically. I started looking for courses and things that I can do. Where I found those days, even now I guess Sadhguru, you can walk with Sadhguru to Kailash. I started thinking about doing that.
Right,
Along with Sadhguru, I should go.
Right.
I was ready to break my provident fund and everything, like collect all the funds and do it for the life. I wanted to do it. Like I was very keen on doing that. But there is another option that I found is Hatha Yoga teacher training.
Okay.
It was for 21 weeks.
21 weeks. Okay.
So
Directly in Hatha Yoga teacher training.
So where I thought like going out with Sadhguru for 21 days or staying in the ashram for 21 weeks. I found 21 weeks were longer, and I thought it would be a good break for me, and I can figure out things what I really wanted.
So let me be clear. You hadn't done inner engineering. You had just listened to some, and you listened. Okay.
No, I didn't do inner engineering. I did Shambhi Mahamudra because they said it's compulsory to do Shambhi Mahamudra to become a Hatha Yoga teacher. I said, hey, listen, I live in New Zealand. There are no inner engineering. I have to go to Australia to do it. Then I started calculating things. You have to take a flight, go there, hotel, and fee was really high those days and all that. I said, I'll come to India and do it. So fortunately, just a week before Hatha Yoga teacher training, there was an inner engineering course.
Okay.
So
which year was it?
2019.
19. Okay.
19. Yeah.
So the interview was okay. They said you just
that time. Yeah. So I went through all the rigorous process of interviewing, many interviews, and eventually they selected me. And by then I had my. Funny thing is, I was Indian that time, but just before this incident happened, I took a New Zealand passport.
Okay.
Then I became a foreigner.
Okay.
Now I can't come to India.
Right.
Because it's a student visa.
Yes,
I need to apply for a student visa.
Right.
Funnily, this happened and it was a shock to me. Because a week ago I can do whatever I want. Now I can't do anything.
Okay.
So then I have applied a visa to the embassy. And it took some time. And I had to fight. Because coming to India is a very natural thing for us. And all of a sudden, the passport restricted me. They said, we can only give visa for 6 months. We can't extend it. Then I said, I want an extended visa because my parents live there. I want to spend time with them and all that. So I went all the way to the commissioner, ambassador. So I requested. So they extended my visa for 9 months instead of 6 months. So I was very lucky that I got that. And so I came here on New Zealand passport. And another interesting thing is I got my overseas citizenship card while I was in the ashram. So you see on my OCI, you will see ashrama address.
Okay, oh, is it?
I can call ashramite. I'm an ashramite. You see the address. So like that, yeah.
So how was Anna coming from listening to Sadhguru, being in the ashram and being in Gyanlinga? What was your first experience of being in the ashram?
For me, for the first experience, absolutely it was mind-blowing. I felt like out of the world. This is completely a different planet altogether. Entering into the Sarpavasil and getting into, the whole pathway, I can still feel like how right in front of my eyes, that lotus pond and getting into the ashram and all that, welcome point. Those days, welcome point used to be a small hut.
Okay.
And then you can actually see the hills.
Right.
Now the welcome point is so
huge.
big that you actually block the whole view. But those days used to be like a small hut and where I used to go and do things. It was a great experience, and where I started with inner engineering as a retreat.
Okay.
So I highly recommend if anyone wanting to
I
do
haven't
retreat.
volunteered for it.
If you're doing for the first time, I highly recommend everyone to go to ashram and do retreat, even if it's a little expensive. Because the first experience you get is amazing. You will never forget in your life. The way they pamper you, they give you good accommodation, and you're like a celebrity there for the retreat. So I had really good experience there. Straight after my inner engineering, I went to Lab of the Master. um,
Okay.
during the Guru Purnima.
I think I might have also been 2019 Lab of the
Right.
Master. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so then the first time, obviously, you got initiated. You're fresh
Ah.
out of inner engineering college, and then you're like in the air, and you feel those energies everywhere, and you started doing your Shavya Mahamudra Mandala and all that, and that's where because we were students with Hatha Yoga school, we were given a spot in the front. So we were sitting there, and because the music was happening and all that, satsang was supposed to start. That was the first experience of such a big gathering. There was like 10,000 people in the same
10,000.
hall. Everyone started chanting and all that. I sat with my eyes closed. I started crying. I mean, it was crying for a spiritual experience. That was the first time that happened in inner engineering,
Right.
and that crying spree that went on and on. Since then, when I was um, in front of Yogeshwar Linga, Adi Yogi Alayam, and I started crying, and I don't know why. Until then, I was fine. I mean, I didn't realize why I'm crying. Why am I crying? And then I slowly opened my eyes, and the Sadhguru was in front of me. It's like that was the first time that actually I cried, and then later I started analyzing why I cried on that day. It's like, when you are sensitive enough, when your perception is high, when you're ready, when energy is around you, you can feel it. I think that was my experience of my Guru when he was in front of me. My eyes was closed, but I could feel him. That was the first time where I saw Sadhguru, and that's like big Harati, the fire wash that happens. It's that was like a grandeur to me, where only olden days it used to happen. For me, like
Yes,
watching
yes.
movie
That is
Kings and Queens
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
olden days used to happen. That was my feeling. Even now, when I do go to Linga Bhairavi procession, I feel like if we went to like a 200, 300 years back, where
Ancient time.
that used to happen like 1,000 years back. That's how I feel. Yes, Sadhguru has created such a wonderful tradition and things that put in place where anyone can go and experience that, and still the same experience every time you see. Even you see 100 times, it's the same
Yeah.
experience to you. So it's a wonderful experience where I saw my Guru for the first time. Since then, there's no turning back. Actually, when I was in New Zealand, when I decided to, come to Hatha Yoga teacher training, then I went to my boss. I said, I'm going to resign my job. I used to see any job I take up, I used to do good, to be honest. So I was a top performer. I went to my boss and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to resign because I need to stay away from 6 months from New Zealand, my job. So I'm going to resign. Anyway, you're not going to give me leave. So he goes, no, why you want to resign? Take a sabbatical.
Okay.
Come back whenever you want.
Oh, there's things like that over there. Okay.
So take sabbatical, come back whenever you want. It's been 5 years since then.
That's sabbatical. Huh? Okay.
I hope this job is still there.
Hopefully.
So it's a long sabbatical. So yeah. So in between, I did go to New Zealand once, and then
Did you call him?
I did go and see him as well. My boss. He still asked like, when are you coming
Oh,
back?
is it?
He still have hopes.
Oh, those are things like that. In
but,
India, that doesn't exist. If you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. He was a wonderful person. I always surrounded by all great people. So that's one good thing that my karma always brings around. Nice people around me. Yeah. So yeah, he was a wonderful person. So I think if I go to New Zealand, I will find a job easily. I think. Yeah, I hope he's listening to me, Vijay. Okay, so that was my experience. Yeah, so I was. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was the teachers training going through it and?
Yeah, so as I said, the inner engineering, and then straight away teacher training happened. Teacher training for me, it was an escape for me, for what I was doing. It was never about becoming a teacher.
Okay.
So it was about escaping from where I was and doing something more worthwhile and doing things. I was a little, how would say, little stubborn, little adamant till then. about whatever my view is. I was very rigid person. Once the inner engine happened, many people you can relate to that. Things will just melt away, yeah. And then Hatha Yoga teacher training is like a completely a different different game altogether, where you have to leave everything what you are and you have to become a student. If you are a student, then you will become a teacher. You forget that you're in a teacher training. You have to become a student, and it is like not student of a college student. You have to go back to like 100 years ago, where Guru Shishya Parampara was there. That's how it should be. That's how you are asked to do certain things, and you just do it. You don't have to think twice. You don't. If you start putting your logical mind, it's always a resistance, and then it's not going to be a great experience for you. I was struggling with that. It was a transition for me, being a banking person, having certain professional baggage and a certain communication, customer skills, and I had certain expectations from everyone. The same thing, certain expectations from the school and what I could, how things should be running. I have my own view of things. So I had all this baggage, and then inner engineering softened me up. When I came to teacher training, it was a bit of a adjustment problem for me. Yeah, it was like, oh, why they are doing all this? Why they ask me to do this? Why can't I do that way? All this struggle happened. It happened for some time. Then all these swamis and teachers, they were great. They must have seen hundreds of people like me. They were very patient with me, and but Sadhguru has created this system and the process where it's like an onion. He will shed one skin after this, after the other, then you will become a shining person. That happened. The whole process, if you just offer yourself to that process, it will happen on its own. So later, eventually I realized I went quiet during the training. We used to speak very less. I used to just follow because I realized by that time, even there is struggle that's happening inside, but I was suppressing that. I just following what's supposed to be done. Where I did in engineering, and then straight away I did Shakti Shunya Intense Meditation, Shakti Chalana, and then I did Bhavaspandana. That was a big life changing for me. So while this was happening, the training was very, very tough on me. We used to wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock and come to the hall by 5, and you have to do your practices, do your Shambhavi. I was on Shambhavi Mandala. I was on Shakti Chala Mandala.
Oh my God.
And then I used to we have to do our practices, morning practices, evening practices. And then I have to find time to go eat. So sometimes I never found time to go eat. I used to miss my meals.
Oh my God.
Because the next section would be like an hour and a half gap, and then I used to find very tough, and that's where I used to think, why people are making it so hard for me. I used to think I'm the only guy who's doing everything. So eventually, it makes a better person out of you, because the struggle is always there. Everyone has 24 hours. That taught me how to manage yourself according to what you have right now. So that makes you as a very productive person. Yeah? If you can start in the morning at 4 and sleep at 10 o'clock and still be able to manage all these things, if you're able to do that in the ashram, I'm sure you can do that in the real world as well, and you would be a wonderful person. And I'm sure whatever you do with your heart, put your heart and soul into it, you'll be a successful person if you do the same way. So that taught me what potential that I have in me. So I used to enjoy practices. There's certain compulsions that I had. Slowly I started getting rid of them, and the great support that you get in the school definitely would help me in that direction. So training was amazing. As I was not a studious, studying was always hard for me.
Yes.
Very, very hard for me, because you have to buy hard many things. But I was good at what I was doing. Whatever the extent that I was studying, I used to present it well. yeah, I'm okay student when I was in the college. I mean, in the school, but at the end of the training, things have speeded up very fast. I don't know how it happened. I think when you're in Adi Yoga Alayam, in ashram, it's a consecrated area. Things will change without your knowledge, and sometimes it rev up. It goes 3 times, 4 times faster than what you expect. The same thing happened while I was in asanas. One day that you actually your hand in Padahastasana, your hands were so away, and then after all of a sudden that you are able to
Like
place
that, okay,
palms on the
yes,
ground.
yes.
That happened with me too. It's Sadhguru says na doing Hatha Yoga is breaking your karma.
Yeah.
So there's certain karmas that you melt away, and then physical agility or mental stability, it just naturally happens. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely this is going quite long.
No, it's short. It's still short. So from there and like coming back to Hyderabad, did you ever feel like you need to stay in the ashram, or did you feel like you have to come back in? Because many people try to stay back.
Yeah. So there's one stage where I started thinking of become a full-time teacher.
Okay.
So Ashwina ka Ma Jayatri right now, she came to me and said, "Oh, why don't you become a full-time teacher? So full-time volunteer." And I was like, "Oh, I would love to, but I want to learn dance." She goes, "Yeah, we'll give you a chance to dance during Navaratri." So that's how our conversations should be. Was basically, and but something in me was striving to become a very successful person in what I do. So in that direction, I said some part of me said I want to prove myself as a good teacher, because that was never my intention to become a good teacher. But after the training, something happened to me. I said I want to teach. I want to teach in a way that I would not have time to breathe.
Okay.
That was my intensity initial days. Like I want to teach in the morning, I want to teach in the afternoon, I want to teach in the night. So that's how I was become. From a guy who was never interested in teaching and become like this is definitely something happened during the training. So I did stay back in the ashram till Mahashivratri. So my stay was almost like 9 months from the training, day one. Inner engineering to Mahashivratri was like a 9-month period I was in the ashram. Many things changed during that period. As Sadhguru says now, so if you are really put into your every energy in one direction, the certain ways that you change, even your facial changes.
Right.
I was like that.
Okay.
My face changed. Some people started thinking, hey, what happened to you? You changed. So that happened to me. That practically it happened to me. I stayed back in the ashram for 3 months, and I did volunteering. During the Shivaratri, I was very active and all that. That was my first Shivaratri as well. I was fortunate enough to become a part of Rally for River.
Oh, okay.
You know, one of those the India
Yes,
whole becomes
yes,
blue. Rally for River.
So this must be before 2018, no?
No, 2019. That's when it happened. It's 19.
Because I remember myself after the Rally for Rivers, I did Inner, and that was in May 2018
Now you're making me. No, 19.
Are you sure?
Don't confuse me.
Okay.
Rally for River happened in Coimbatore.
Yes.
When Sadhguru started.
Yes.
And that was
Because I very clearly remember I hadn't done inner engineering then.
okay. Well, let's check my on Instagram.
Yeah, you have to check it. Yeah, okay.
So Rally for River, I was very fortunate.
Okay.
They took us where Sadhguru has flagged off.
Okay.
And there they did the India map.
Yeah, that map.
And then
That was
it
very
became
viral.
blue.
Yeah, it was very viral. I think.
I was one of the guys who was doing the blue card, so that we were part of all that. So it's a exciting days where we had Sadhguru's darshan multiple times. He came and spoke to us few times. We had special darshans, like to be able to see him from this distance, to be able to speak to him. That was like a wonderful experience for me for all 9 months. And even in training, we were fortunate enough to touch his feet. He gave us his blessings. For the convocation, he came. So when certification happens, that time he came. So that's one of its kind. I think never happened in school. So we were in a lucky batch.
Lucky batch.
Now I started thinking which batch I am. I'm actually 2017 batch.
Isn't it? Yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
I correct myself.
Yeah.
2017, he's right on now. See, time passed by.
Time passed,
I
yeah.
lost track of time. It's 2017. Yes, you're right, Anna.
So then, Anna, coming back to Hyderabad, were you able to intensely do what you wanted morning, afternoon, evening? And how did that journey evolve?
So while I was in the school, people from Isha Life, they approached me, and they said we are starting Isha Life. We want a Hatha Yoga teacher to be there full time. It was a wonderful for me. It's like, oh wow, it's a wonderful opportunity. I would love to be there. They said, yeah, so you will be there. You will be taking care of everything, and we'll arrange food for you, so you can do your sadhana and all that. It's like a wonderful opportunity. So I said, yes, let's do it. So I came here, and it was still in initial stages where they were still building things. There was nothing was set up, and there was no official, launching done. So I was there before that. So the ability or the enthusiasm to teach never took shape.
Okay.
Because I was still, waiting for people to come and all that. There's no one coming. So because the Isha Life was still under construction. So I was there, I set up the hall, like equipment and TVs and everything, logistically I was preparing everything. And the day happened where the big launch happened with all the celebrities and all that. We had other two Hatha Yoga teachers also there. There are two other girls, Hatha Yoga teachers, me. We were waiting at the counter, and we were just waiting. People would come and register, and we start teaching immediately.
Right.
And everyone went to the boutique. No one came to us.
Okay.
Not even one registration that day. All rich people, they all went and bought like lakhs of rupees products. No one came to us. That was a big disappointed. Then obviously the area that we were in, it was definitely a very influential area, where I have learned just being there will not bring people to you. You have to go out there, and then you have to tell your existence to people, and you started talking about it. You start advertising about it. These are the things that I started learning, because for me, I'm teacher now, and then people will come to me, I'll teach. That's how my attitude works. It never happens that way. In a real world, you have to become a content creator, you have to become an advertiser, you have to become your own ambassador, and you have to talk about yourself, and you have to talk about yoga. All these things I've learned, I've realized, just being teacher is not enough. Then those are the things that I've learned on the way. So yes, later I have become a foundation teacher. I took up a teaching, more like a teaching job with foundation. I started teaching left, right, and center. So that's when I realized, okay, I've got what I wanted. So since then, there's no turning back. So yeah, I'm enjoying teaching even now today.
Is there you must have taught a lot of students in this, I think 7-8 years. So is there a particular student or something who came for a problem and they did Hatha Yoga and their life transformed? Because I would like a few examples of something that people can really resonate with. Something that came, they didn't think even the problem might change, but then they reached out to you. Is there something that you remember of a particular? We don't need to take names, just a few instances.
So there are a few examples. I don't have a specific example, but I can give you a few examples of few people where during Corona time, people used to come for online programs. All we used to do is Upayoga and few Sadhguru tips. And those times, no one used to teach online. So we started this 21-day yoga, where it was become a big hit, where we used to have 200 people online, 300 people, where we have to create multiple, Zoom chats and all that. There where people used to come and touched by Sadhguru, and many people came to know about Sadhguru through that program. And many people came to know about inner reaching through that simple program. And few people even today they text me, oh, I have reached ashram for the first time.
Right.
From that online, it has, Sadhguru says, no, the technology is so great these days. If you use it, you can change people's life. And that simple program of 10 days, 21 days has touched many people. And I know personally few people who have done Sadhana Pada. That program directly Sadhana Pada.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's how intense it was. There, every batch there are few people who are who did Hatha Yoga with me, and they become Hatha Yoga teachers.
Okay.
They become alumni to
Alumni.
me. Like that, I have many people. I can't really point out to one specific, but there are few people who come and really feel great about learning Hatha Yoga, because simple things that they could not do in life, they were able to do after Hatha Yoga. One example, one lady came to me and she started crying. I said, it was a 21-day Hatha Yoga program. I just did Upayoga part. She started crying, and I was like, why? What happened to you? I was little worried. Why is she crying? It's only second day. And just did Upayoga practice, the directional movement of arms. She came, Anna, I had so much of problem in my in my wrist. I was never able to hold anything tight. After just couple of days of Upayoga, I was able to actually clean my own room with the broom, and she was crying. For us, it's like a very simple thing, but for her, it's a great thing that she's able to use her hands fully. You would only know when a certain thing doesn't function in your body. You know the importance of that thing. Sadhguru says, only if you have a knee pain, then you know that it exists. So like that, a simple thing can actually touch people's life. And so we have people who suffer from anxiety, depression. There's one right in this, in front of Devi, they did 21-day Hatha Yoga program, one couple. His wife had anxiety problem, depression problem, and they wanted to do Hatha Yoga and find solution through it. So husband joined because of wife, and they both enjoyed it, and they had a great experience to share this. And just because of this program, how disciplined it was, we were able to overcome our mental challenges. So that was a great experience for me, because that's when I feel these examples make me feel that I'm doing the right thing, because I'm being just a carrier of his energies. When I sit and as a Hatha Yoga teacher, it is him that is working through me. So I find it's like blessed to be in that position. So it comes with a great responsibility. Sometimes I worry, but that's when I feel like that one thing that I was looking for, what is the worthwhile for living this life, is actually comes. I feel that I'm fulfilled.
Right.
I feel that okay, this is the right thing to do in my life. Yeah. So that's why I never went back to my job.
Beautiful, Anna. So, what does the word spirituality mean? Like before and now, many people what does spirituality actually mean in your experience? Is it having a guru? Is it doing sadhana, or is it just being open to life? Or do we need to lead a certain life? What does it mean? Like from your previous to now?
See, though spirituality, for me, I mean, the definition really didn't change, but how I experience life has changed. That's what I feel. The spirituality is the way you lead life, the way you perceive life is what spirituality is all about. Many people feel spirituality means being religious, being just do some mantras or chantings or pujas and these things. That is how I used to perceive as well, anyway. But once I come to Sadhguru, spirituality means the way you conduct your life is spirituality. You can be spiritual in every aspect of life. Sadhguru says, even when you paint, you can be spiritual. You can be meditative while you're doing painting. So in every aspect of life, you can be spiritual. That's how I have become as well. That is the perception that I have developed after coming to Sadhguru, and his influence, obviously, after doing inner engineering. You can put that into practice. You can say many things, but if you don't practice, it doesn't really make any change or sense. But after doing inner engineering, definitely things have changed. In every situation, you're aware of what you're doing, whether you're doing right thing or so-called not right thing, or also you're aware you do consciously. Okay, so I think if you do with that certain consciousness, you don't do things wrong. Yeah. So for me, spirituality is not just sitting down and doing puja or doing some rituals. It's being aware every moment of your life. Yeah, that just comes with Sadhguru's grace basically. Yeah.
So Anna, along with teaching yoga, has this practice has evolved you as a person? Like, are you want to do new things, or you just want to teach yoga? Like, right now, where you are at, what are the things that you want to experience? Or
So for me, see, if you see as a person, because you always get influenced by people around you, the definition of success is measured always with materialistic things in general, like what type of car you have, what type of girlfriend you have, what type of house you have, and what are you doing, how many trips are you doing, where you're going. All these things determines your success, and that's how I used to be. But for me, success is where how many people you're touching, how many people's life that you're changing, and how impactful that you are to the society. For me, I would never leave teaching, even though if I pick another thing on the side, but I will never leave teaching because I see the power of it. For me, becoming a teacher has made me a good student. Even though I teach, but there's certain things that you can learn along the way, even from your students. So there are certain people that you see so intense. Sometimes you feel that they're more intense than you towards their sadhana and towards their practices. It's so great to see those kind of people in your classes. So for me, teaching has brought a lot of change in my life in general. Made me more conscious of it.
did dancing happen?
Dancing happened, happening. It's just on and off.
Okay.
Yeah, something that I want to pursue more. So yeah, as I was saying, like it gave me a great freedom as well. Becoming a teacher, I know whether I should tell this particular sentence or not, but I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Yeah.
It made me incapable of doing any other job. In a way that I don't find other jobs are so great for my personality. So I look for more opportunities to teach and anything to do. I'm a very art kind of a person. So I like dancing. I like music. I go to the things which are more down to earth, like whether it is farming or mud house building, and just exploring different temples and cultures as well. So that just gave me a lot of freedom in this. So when you don't have baggages, so yeah, so you can do many things. I think that freedom comes with a cost, and I'm ready to continue enjoy this freedom. I'm okay to sacrifice other things,
Right.
but I enjoy this. So that it just comes with so much of guarantee. Like if you are in this path, the happiness is guaranteed. That's what I perceive. So end of the day, whatever we do, we actually want to become a happier person. So if you do your sadhana, your insurance is covered for your health and other
Right,
things.
right.
So if you do your Shambhi Mahamudra, your mental health is covered. You're fine. And if you do things that Sadhguru says, you just follow the things, and things will fall into place, I guess, in terms of mentally, physically, and energy-wise as well. Yeah.
Beautiful, Anna. So where can people find you for your programs, and can they reach out to you for online or offline programs?
Okay. Yes. So during COVID, we have started. There are other Hatha Yoga teachers, Harita Lohi, Bharat Anna, and Pradeep Anna, and I. We've started this a brand called Yoga. So during COVID, we started online classes, and then after that, we started doing more classes. So there's one stage where we did classes simultaneously, like 4 different locations as well. So we are. You can find us on yogaratava.com. That's our website. So we were fortunate enough to be in Manikonda in Devi's grace. As you can see, we have a wonderful presence of Devi, and yeah. So you can find us in this particular spot. Yeah.
Anna. So this is the end of the podcast, Anna. I hope you didn't suffer it.
No, I enjoyed it, and thank you very much for giving us.
So before leaving the audience, any anything last that you would like to?
Yeah, so if you're in Hyderabad, yeah, please come to Devi's temple, and it is in Manikonda. You can the temple is open 6 to 9 in the evening, usually for public. Many people don't know that this temple exists, so please come and take Devi's grace as well. And if you would like to join Hatha Yoga program, we have programs happening like monthly program workshops in the morning time, 6 to 9 a.m. You can just reach out to one of the teacher. yogradho.com is our website.
Okay, Anna. Thank you. So that's the end of the podcast, Anna. So thank you for spending your time and being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. So please do let me know in the comments like what are the questions that you would love to allow me to ask teachers or other meditators or people I'm interviewing. That would really help me a lot. So please drop that in the comments so that it helps me. And as Vaisakh and Colleen Anna said, there's a retreat happening in the Himalayas. I have linked all the details in the description, including the website. So you can definitely call them, check with them the details if you're interested in a Hatha Yoga retreat. Even if you have already done the Hatha Yoga program and still want to refresh it, this would be a good way, because I remember I had done Surya Kriya long back, and during COVID I went for a retreat with Nirali Akka, and the entire ambience, the food, and being in a different space had a totally great effect on me. I could experience Surya Kriya in a totally different way. So if you're looking for a retreat program to take your friends or family, I would definitely suggest this program. So please check out the program by Asta and Colleen Anna, Asaka and Colleen Anna, and it's all the details are there in the description. So I'll see you guys in the next podcast.